Welcome to Therapists Say, the podcast where we talk about real life, real feelings, and the stuff everyone's dealing with, but no one really explains. We're here to make mental health make sense, keep things honest, and remind you that you're not the only one trying to figure it all out. Therapists Say is brought to you by Full Circle Therapy and Inner Wellness Therapeutic Services. Let's get into today's episode. And welcome back to another episode of Therapists Say. I'm your host, Mel.
I'm your other host, Liz.
Barry.
Barry, do you have shrink wrap for us?
I do a few things. Do you guys have anything? No,
We don't.
All right. So I had some shrink wrap, but I don't want to make Liz go mute again because at the end of the last episode, she kind of shut up.
So then your shrink wrap must be about pregnant sex.
I think it was. Yeah, it was. I think I had said to you after the episode, like, I don't know if this happens to you guys, but sometimes after the episode,
Yeah.
things like it occurred to me after the episode, very shortly after the episode, that I had taken a part in research.
Yes.
Like I was a subject in research about sex with pregnant women.
I can't believe you didn't
And
bring that up.
It totally escaped me during the episode.
Yeah.
But then driving home, I was like, oh, I should have mentioned that. Like it just pops up in
Wait,
your
how
head.
did you get wrapped into such a study?
One of my colleagues that I know, a friend,
Mm-hmm.
she knew someone that was doing the research, and then they
And your
asked
wife
if I
at the
could.
time was pregnant.
No.
Oh.
No, I wasn't married then. I was.
You
this was 10 years ago.
Okay,
Like,
well,
I had all.
what
my
was the
kids
study
by then.
about? I'm just getting ahead of
Oh,
myself.
it was about BDSM with pregnant women.
Oh.
I don't know that I said I did that. Like,
Okay.
but I had sex with pregnant women, so that made me.
It just sounds like it,
I know it sounds awful,
but it's not. It's
not.
very
It's
normal.
natural.
Yeah.
Right, Liz?
Right.
Yeah, so it was like, I bring this up in class sometimes because it was like, you know how the IRBC, like the people that oversee the studies, are so cautious.
Yeah.
And it was like, you may see images that are disturbing, and it's literally hand drawn women like tied to a chair or something. You know what I mean? I'm like, this is not pregnant, clothed, tied to a chair. This is not disturbing.
Yeah.
I feel like we went way too far with the protecting people, you know?
That is true.
Yeah. I want to go back to the Milgram days of shocking people. And never.
Wait, but you have nothing
didn't
else to
happen.
share about what came out
No,
of this
I
study?
literally just answered some questions. I don't know. I was a subject.
Oh.
I didn't do the research. I was a subject. I answered the questions and submitted it. It was nothing. Yeah, it was nothing exciting, honestly.
Okay, fine.
It wasn't nearly as exciting as it sounded.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
And then I do have a couple of other things. One, this also occurred to me a day later. In the episode, I said, I think sarcasm is from the anal stage, but it's not. It's oral.
Oh.
And actually, when you think about it, it's biting sarcasm. So it's oral, biting sarcasm. Yeah. And then the only other thing I have is one of my friends said, it's June and we haven't had the meetup yet. And we've been talking about it since January. And I was like, these women are very, very busy. Like, you have several kids in baseball, and you're pregnant and have 2 little kids. And I said, I don't know if it's ever going to happen, but I think we should revisit, possibly have it. I mean, is anyone interested besides my friend?
Call to action. If you are interested in a meet and greet, please comment below.
Yeah, comment. Say yes, I would come.
Okay, yeah.
It'll probably be like, I'm assuming a weekend, but you guys don't really like weekends. It needs to be before school really kicks up again.
That's true.
Like maybe a Friday or
a Friday would be
Saturday.
best.
For you, I know, but right. I don't know that for the people that work Monday to Friday, that would be a good day.
Okay, we'll comment below.
Yeah.
Friday or weekend.
Yeah. Yeah, let's make this happen. Or just let us know you don't want that. You do not want to meet us. You have no interest in that at all whatsoever, and we will let it die.
Yeah.
Or you could just have lunch with my friends sometime.
Oh,
like, we'll all go to lunch sometime.
Oh, yeah, that too.
Yeah, we could just do that.
We could just do that.
All right.
All right, great. Today's my question.
Yep.
And I was thinking that we could talk about kind of like parenting styles, but really my
Okay.
main thing is how gentle parenting has gotten a really bad rap, because I think people confuse it with permissive parenting. In our little bit of research on this topic, I came across fuck around and find out parenting is the opposite of gentle parenting in the trendy TikTok world from my research.
I mean, is that really the term?
Yeah.
Because
But what even is fuck around and find out?
I think
you don't know what fuck around and find out is?
No, I understand. But like, what are they trying to insinuate?
But all right, when it comes to parenting, I agree with you because to me, fuck around and find out is like keep pushing,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna kick your ass, right?
Yeah.
That's
Right.
fuck around and find out.
that's the vibe.
Like I have a shirt that says it, right? And that's kind of what it means.
But like, that's the vibe. Like, I'm not actually gonna kick your ass.
Or
Like,
am
I will if you
I'm-
keep
We're not gonna
fucking
hit
around.
our children, people.
No, that's what I'm
That's
saying.
what I'm trying to say.
Right.
Like, I'm not gonna.
Okay, well, you're not being
actually-
clear.
I
was
said
saying,
that. I literally just said I'm not gonna actually kick your ass.
Wait, but people do kick their kids' asses.
hold on. All right, we're all over the place. You're saying you're not going to kick. I'm talking about it being a phrase that generally people use
Yes, I understand that.
to like we're going to fight.
I do agree with you. Yes,
and we should not have that mentality toward our kids. But you didn't say kid, you said you. I'm not going to kick your ass.
Well, I meant.
That's
as
why I
if
said
we
you
were
weren't clear.
No, I meant like talking about a child. Like
Right.
I meant your as in a child.
Right. I don't think this is a good. I don't
Like it's not the opposite of gentle parenting.
I don't even consider that parenting.
Right.
I mean, I don't want to say, there haven't been times you need to be a bit authoritarian,
Mhm.
which is a negative
Mhm.
parenting
Right.
style with a child. Like sometimes maybe you need to be like,
But children need
fuck
rules.
around and find out wouldn't be my go-to.
Right.
I don't think.
But with gentle parenting, there are rules.
Right.
and
I know.
boundaries.
Well, yeah, and that's why I think people don't understand what gentle parenting is,
Right.
and they, like you said, they're confusing it for permissive parenting, and that's not what it is.
Right, but I can't believe there's you know what? I shouldn't say I can't believe there's a movement because
Right.
Nothing should surprise us these days.
I have been appalled
Yeah.
by things I've seen lately
Samesies.
about like movements,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
I guess I shouldn't be shocked that there's a movement to kick
Mhm.
your kids' asses if they fuck around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like,
That's
I guess
true.
I shouldn't be, but yeah, I guess I feel like we've grown.
Right. I feel like somewhere along the way, there was a movement to get away from spanking your kids and
Mhm.
being an authoritarian parent.
Vegetarian is considered
Yeah.
the strictest.
So we were trying to get away from that. Then there was a movement in the gentle parenting, more authoritative parenting, if we're going to use the
Mhm.
parenting styles. And now all of a sudden, it's kind of going back to the trad parenting. The traditional parenting, which was, back in maybe like the 50s.
I mean, not even like my parents, and I was not born in the 50s, but my parents were very authoritarian,
Mhm.
where I got beat with a belt pretty regularly.
Mm-hmm.
I tell this story in class where when we went to, I don't know if you guys living down here are familiar, but up north, there's the Amish.
Yeah.
And there's a center of
Mhm.
Amish living in Pennsylvania called
Yeah.
Pennsylvania Dutchland.
Yeah,
right?
my cousin lived in Delaware for some time, and we went to visit her, and they would like go to the
Pennsylvania Dutchland.
I mean, they'd go somewhere in their little horse-drawn carriage. We would see them
Oh, in Delaware. Though.
in Delaware.
So in Pennsylvania, it was a place to go, like on vacation. My parents took us there, and it's all Amish, but outside of the town, I guess there's like an amusement park.
Mm-hmm.
But you would go into where the Amish sell their stuff, and my parents bought my sister and I a paddle with our names on it.
Oh, how cute!
To spank them.
To spank you.
That's not cute because
I
you do
know.
something wrong,
I know.
and my dad would be like, "Go get the paddle."
Oh no! And it had
And
your
you have
name
to
on
walk.
it.
Yeah, like you had to walk to where the paddle was
Oh.
hanging in a hallway.
Oh, that's horrid.
get the paddle, bring it back to get your ass beat with a wooden paddle. So I don't think it's as old as you're saying. Like,
okay, so this is my other thing. I feel like each generation tries to do a little better than the last.
I agree.
Right. But my dad tells a story of when he was a child, he was running around barefoot, playing outside. And my grandfather tried to run him over with the car because he was driving. And I guess he saw him playing outside and saw he was barefoot and like went to hit him with the car because he had told him so many times not to run around barefoot. So then I feel like my dad tried to do better than that.
He only tried to run you over with a bicycle, or
right. He was trying to run us over with cars.
Okay.
He never hit us. My brother, maybe. I remember him getting threatened with the belt. I don't think he was ever hit with the belt. It is what it is. Like we all tried to do a little better.
My parents were very Christian, and in Christian religion, there's in the Bible, there's spare the rod, spoil the child.
Yes,
which
I've heard
means
that
if
before.
you don't beat your kid is going to be spoiled.
Right.
And my parents believed that. Their discipline was to teach me to not be a bad kid. But as we've discussed, that was not very effective. I turned out pretty bad. Right?
Many things. You identify as a bad kid.
100. Not as a bad kid. Like, I think as a kid, I was getting spanked for things that were like normal kid. You know what I mean? Like I made a mistake, or like I don't think I was defiant. I don't think I was, until I got a bunch of beatings and became a teenager.
Yeah.
And then I became a very bad child. Like, not child, but teenager.
Adolescent. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, I was very bad.
It sucks to say I was a bad child. I don't think you were a bad child.
Yeah.
Like, I think you became defiant because of the price.
But I think
complex
like this
trauma.
is what Skinner says about punishment. Right? Punishment has unintended consequences.
Right.
So beating me with a belt or a paddle or whatever for part of my life, maybe it kept me in line, but one of the unintended consequences was I grew to be defiant and resentful and angry and whatever came of that, right? As a teenager, when I had more power, right? Like I could be more
autonomy.
Yeah. Or I was sneakier. There's definitely a shift when you're from child to adolescence where, you know, you see your parents differently. Like as a child, you see them as all powerful, you know, they're always right. Like I have a quote somewhere in my phone about parenting, how it's easier for a child to believe that they're at fault than it could be that their parents are making a mistake. Like how scary is that? The adults don't know what they're doing when you're a little kid.
Right.
It makes more sense to blame yourself. So I think, you know, as a child, I saw them as all powerful and they had to be right. And I think the cognitive changes that occur in adolescence allowed me to see, no, like they're messed up and I'm going to rebel.
Right.
And yeah, like even when I say I was a bad teenager, like, no, I mean it. Like I was sneaky. I was awful. I did bad things, you know? That doesn't bother me to say I was a bad teenager. But I think, would I have been a bad teenager if I never got spanked? Who knows? Like we can't ever do that experiment, right? But I would say it probably played a part.
Right.
Oh yeah.
In how angry I became, how
I mean, there's research. There's a lot of research on that.
I'm older than you guys, right? And I feel that a lot of my students who are Cuban and whose parents immigrated here are behind where the United States has gone with discipline, right? I guess some of my kids are millennials, right? Like you guys are millennials?
We're millennials.
Okay. So what I've kind of heard is millennials are entitled or whatever, right? Is that millennials?
Yeah. Well, we were considered entitled at one point, but I think now with the newer generations and as the millennials are getting older, now we've put the entitlement onto the next
Gen Z.
And maybe that always happens. Maybe
I think so.
generations just say the next one.
Yeah.
But one of the things that I kind of, someone said to me, actually an ex that I was dating who was probably a millennial, said that it's our fault they're that way. Like it's when I say our fault, I mean I'm
the millennials' parents.
Yeah, right. right, Gen X or whatever,
Yeah, yeah.
right? It's our fault that millennials are entitled because we swung the other way. Like my parents beat us, right? Like my parents'
we didn't
generation
beat
beat
them.
us.
Yeah.
We didn't beat them. We were too permissive, right?
I wouldn't say Gen X is permissive, though.
But I think there's a cultural factor to it.
I think,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I was saying, like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
feel like some of my students who are, what are they? Gen what?
There
Z?
should probably
Gen
be Gen
Z?
Z.
Gen
Probably
Z?
at the ends of it.
Right. So they're Gen Z. They were still getting beat 10 years ago as kids. They were getting beaten.
The Gen Zs?
Yeah.
They talk about the mom's shoe, the sandal, getting beat with the sandal.
those parents.
Oh, the Hispanic ones. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Sorry,
Right.
you lost me for a second when we went.
All right, maybe I wasn't being clear.
No,
Because you're like the end of the millennials. So
I'm
right
like the
after
last
you,
year.
yeah,
of
is the
millennial.
Gen Zs. And like I'm not old enough to have a child that's a Gen Z.
Right.
Really. So they're older than me. So those parents are in their early 50s. Yeah.
Right. So these parents that are 50s, but they immigrated from Cuba, they're still beating their kids.
Yeah.
Where I'm not, I didn't beat my kids.
Yeah.
Like my kids, I think my boys had one spanking, and that was the therapist told me to spank them. They're like, you've tried everything.
Hit them.
Try
this. No, I'm not kidding. Like,
I know. I think you've told me this story before. This. I don't know why
one of my sons was in therapy, and no matter what we did, he wasn't changing. You know, to adhering to what needed to be done.
I said corporal punishment,
and she said you're going to have to give him a spanking.
And did it work?
Yes. I don't know.
It did?
I'm gonna say it was the only spanking I ever gave them. I was like, I don't want to do this. Like I got spankings and I don't want to be that parent. I don't know if it worked. Like I think it did. Like I think it helped. It probably helped. Like it made him realize, okay, I need to make some changes. But that's
more like
maybe.
Fear, I feel.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing, but I don't know if that was the right intervention. I listened to the therapist at the time, but a point I was making, 2 points, right, is there's the millennial I dated, right, gave the argument that my generation is why millennials were more entitled. We were too permissive because we swung the other way. Like we had very authoritarian parents and we swung to permissive. And then the other point I was making is that in other cultures, they haven't caught up to where the United States is as far, in general,
even if they've been here for
about
years.
discipline. Like they still believe corporal punishment, which is hitting, is necessary.
The point I was trying to make earlier was that there was a wave of we're moving away from the corporal punishment, traditional parenting. And then for some reason, now we're here and there's some sort of movement across social media to go back into it. I think because of that, because there's a lot of talk of, the newer generations are more entitled or they don't have as good work ethic as the other generations did.
Right.
But I have such a big problem with it because there is evidence to confirm that more of that traditional parenting that involved corporal punishment does more harm than good.
I agree.
You know?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Yeah, like we're trying to raise emotionally intelligent children who will become adults. And I think what people don't understand with gentle parenting is that each child is different. Some are more resilient than others. Like some would have received corporal punishment differently than a child who, like, tough love was not the answer for them. Like they needed someone to get down to their level. They needed someone to talk to them to understand, not just yell and scream.
Right. In one of the classes I teach an adolescence class, the psychology of adolescence. And in the textbook, he says some kids are orchids and some kids are like weeds, right? Like an orchid, if you don't take care of it perfectly, it dies, right? And a weed, you can neglect it, like it'll just grow no matter what. It grows through concrete, right?
I like that.
And so some kids are going to be great no matter what, and some kids are going to have a tough time no matter what. And what I've always learned, like when I was in therapy a long time ago with the best therapist I had, she said it's really about the parent matching the needs of the kid.
I was literally just going to say that, because you can't parent
Right.
different children the same way.
Right.
Yeah, that's so
what
true.
works for one doesn't work for all. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like our generation, me and Mel's, I think they're getting very confused by that.
What Mel was saying, like, the point is that maybe people have felt we've gotten too permissive.
Right.
Like pendulums, like generally the way change goes is it swings from one extreme to another, and then eventually with enough swinging it gets to like the middle, right?
Right. And I think people don't understand, like, gentle parenting isn't like, it's okay, honey, no problem, you just punched your sister in the face, like, it's okay. Like, no, like, that's not what gentle parenting is. But maybe a more traditional parent would have lost their mind. Or, for example, my in-laws are definitely much more Americanized than my parents are. They're also younger than my parents by a good 10 to 15 years, so obviously that has a lot to do with it. But my father-in-law's father was a Cuban, very traditional. And my father-in-law tells a story that when Eddie, my husband, was little, Eddie bit someone. He must have been like 2 years old or 3 years old. And my father-in-law's mom was like, bite him back.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
That was actually the first thing that occurred to me.
Me too.
And
like, bite him back.
And my father-in-law tells a story that like he did, and then afterwards he was like, what did I just do? Now Eddie's almost 30 and it sounds like he still feels guilty about it.
I don't think it's that bad.
No.
I've actually heard of people doing that,
biting back their children.
Yes, I've seen somebody do that.
Well, it's so they know how it feels. Like, that's the purpose.
Yeah.
Right. Well, because a 2-year-old probably really doesn't understand that hurts, or that would hurt another person. My father-in-law has always talked about how they have tried to parent differently because their parents were more traditional generation.
I teach the 4 parenting styles, so maybe we should start there. Because we've mentioned authoritative, which is considered the only healthy one. So authoritative parents are high in demanding and also high in responsiveness. They're high in both. Like, I expect a lot of you, but also I will listen to you. I will understand, your perspective. Where authoritarian, which is the other one we've been talking about the most, is high in demandingness and low in responsiveness. And the best example of this that I'm aware of is, why? Because I said so. Like, it's not, I don't have to explain anything to you. I'm the parent. That's it. That's considered authoritarian, and that's not healthy for the kid. Like, it dismisses the kid's perspective. And then when there's low demandingness and high responsiveness, that's permissive parenting, right? So it's like, you're my friend and I just do everything to please you, right? And I don't expect anything from you. And then low demandingness and low responsiveness is, they're like checked out. That parent is checked out. What's it called?
What's it called?
Here it says neglectful.
Yeah, neglectful. I don't think, we don't use that term.
Yeah,
we use,
I can't remember the term for
uninvolved.
No.
It says
disengaged, like something like that. It's like disengaged. In this case, you've given up on the kid, basically.
The older ones say disengaged.
Yeah, I think it's disengaged. So it's basically like, I've given up trying to parent you. I don't expect anything from you. I'm not going to give you anything.
Yeah.
Like, this is the kid that, like, their parents don't know where they are. They don't like, they have no curfew. They're allowed to do whatever they want. And the parent doesn't expect anything from them either. So those are the 4 parenting styles. So when we're talking about, when the new term is, what's it called? Gentle parenting. Like, I would say gentle parenting is probably somewhere on the border of authoritative and permissive, right? Like the low end of authoritative.
Gentle parenting is supposed to have boundaries. You have high boundaries and high warmth. So really, gentle parenting is just the equivalent of authoritative. But I think
they're just changing
the name,
terminology.
Yeah, I think it just, to make it trendy or whatever. But it's gotten lost in translation, and people think that it's permissive.
Right. People think that it doesn't have boundaries. Right. You don't have boundaries.
Yeah. Gentle parenting is, you have boundaries, but you explain why the boundaries are in place.
Yeah.
You know,
like that's what I think of when I think of authoritative. Like I mean, obviously it's not a 3-year-old that's just like, why, right? Because sooner or later you got to give up on that.
Yeah.
But the first few whys, you will do your best to explain. Right?
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Grace and
like you want them to understand
why this guy was.
I don't know why we would move away from that.
Right? Me neither.
Well, because the problem is that people aren't understanding and they think it's permissive. They think, oh, the kid walks all over you, or, oh, there's no boundaries, when that's not what it is. That's not what it is. And just saying because I said so. And like you said, yeah, I'll explain the first 3 times you ask me why, but at the 4th time, I'm going to be like, I already explained this to you. You're not going to change my mind by asking me the same thing in a different way. Right. So now we're done. Right? Now we're done, and now we're moving on.
I mean, I have an answer to my own question, which is, why are we moving away from that? And I think it's easier. Like, it takes less energy.
To not explain something. Yeah.
It takes less energy. I feel people are overwhelmed. We have a lot going on. Parenting is hard.
It's easier to more intimidate your child and get them to shut up than to explain to them what's actually going on.
Right.
Yeah, a big part of that is that you can be calm but firm. Right. And I think people are stressed out and it's not easy to be calm all the time. It's easier to have a reaction to it. And when you have a reaction, sometimes you lash out. But at the end of the day, the behavior is changing because they are fearful.
Not because they're actually understanding.
Right.
Or because they want to in a positive way.
Some people believe fear is what's necessary to keep us in line. Like I said, I read a book about moral psychology. And Jonathan Haidt, who I've probably mentioned before. I love his writing. I think the dude is genius. All the research in it. But I feel like fear is part of us complying, right? Like, why do we tip when we're never going to go to that restaurant again? Like, why do we do that? Financially, it makes no sense. Like, homo economists, or whatever they call it, like the logical, most rational economist from like cost versus reward would not tip at a restaurant they're never going to be in again. We do it out of fear of reputation. Like, we don't want our reputation to be ruined. Why don't we want our reputation to be ruined? Because evolutionarily, we lived in small groups and our reputation was everything, right? Like if I did something to harm the group, I could get thrown out of the group. But that's fear. Like, why do we pay our taxes? Why don't we just tell the government to go,
fuck off?
Yeah, we pay our taxes because we're afraid we'll get fined. We're afraid we'll go to jail. Like, there's a whole argument that the only reason we adhere to rules and so forth is because of the fear of punishment. So I'm just taking devil's advocate right now. Like, if I'm a parent, why wouldn't I want to instill fear in my child? Because that's our life. Like, that's how life is. Like, if you don't follow the rules, there's punishments.
I get that.
But
consequences. So I feel like
consequences.
Yeah. I feel like I could get on board to consequences, right? But when it comes to fear, I just keep thinking that's what most of the time leads to the anxiety, depression that we see from kids that are so fearful of their parents. I was fearful of my parents, but in a way where
we didn't want to disappoint them.
That's what I was going to say. Like, I feel like it was more about not wanting to disappoint them, which then I feel like is probably what helped me to be more successful. So yeah, I agree that we need some fear in our life. Absolutely.
Right. But I think it can be, I think that's where it swings on the pendulum, right? I do think children, not that they should fear their parents, but hopefully if you have a good enough relationship with your child, they're going to want to some level, please you. And I don't mean please you by do whatever you want, do whatever I say, but to some degree, we would hope that our children would want to do the right thing, maybe even like morally.
Right, but there's there's 3 levels of moral reasoning, according to Kohlberg. I think it is. I teach this also in that same class. The first one is because of the consequences.
Right.
That's the first level of morality.
But
and
there is
some people
consequence.
never get out of that morality. Like the
Right.
second is because of the sense of what's right for community and society. And then the third is a higher than that, right? Like I've like created my own moral code that's positive, not like
Negative.
I've created my own moral code where I can murder people. Like, no, I've created my own moral code where I don't eat meat.
But that's
right?
your moral
That would
code.
be, because I don't eat, like the reason I don't eat meat isn't because of health reasons, because I'll eat candy for dinner. Like, I don't even care. I'm very excited. I have Ben and Jerry's waiting for me tonight when I get home. But what I was saying is that's the third level. I'm not
Right.
saying I'm at the third level.
But you have some
I have some
tendencies.
right things I do because I believe it's the right
For
thing
yourself.
to do, regardless of consequences, regardless of any.
Right.
Like, I'm not doing it for the community. I mean, I heard it helps the planet not to eat meat. Like, it's less, like, whatever.
Wasteful?
I don't know. I think it uses less water or something.
No.
But not if I'm.
I mean, it
ice
definitely
cream,
uses less resources.
Yeah, I think.
You have to like
so I
butcher things.
whatever. Right?
Yeah.
So, but I don't do it for that reason. I do it specifically because of that moral.
How you feel.
Right. That's so. In that case, maybe I'm at the third level. Right. I pay my taxes because of the first level of moral
consequences.
Yeah. Like, I would not be donating to the government if it weren't
a choice.
Right. If they were like, can you give us some money to help us out? I'd be like, nah, I don't have it.
Right. But I think like that's life. There are
there's
consequences.
Right. And most of us, I think Kohlberg says most people are the first and second level,
right,
and don't get to the third level. Most people, but I'm sure a lot of us do in some ways. But I think what we're talking about is, yes, fear of consequences is part of our right behavior.
Right.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and I don't think it's completely negative.
Right.
To have fear of consequences.
I don't do 120 on the highway because of the consequences.
So you could die.
No, not the death one.
Not the
Why
death
would you think that?
I'm sorry.
Not at all.
Would not.
It's because I am a good driver. It's because you go to jail now in Florida for doing over 100 miles an hour.
I was going to say, he just probably doesn't want to get arrested.
They can take you away right away.
They get arrested.
Yeah. No, I don't want that.
I read something about gentle parenting and how it has more to do with the relationship that you have with the child. I don't even want to say child, because I feel like parenting goes far beyond childhood, at least in our culture. And it has to do more with the relationship and the child feeling like they have a good relationship with their parent. And that's where authoritarian parenting and punishment ruins the relationship between the child and the parent, which then leads to all these other issues.
I don't know that I would use the word ruin. I would say maybe negatively impacts. I would say in my case, it ruined it. Like, this is going to sound awful. This is going to make me sound like an awful human being. But when I was a child, I would pray my dad didn't come home.
Yeah.
Because what was worse than going and getting the paddle was my mom saying, wait till your father gets home. That's like 6 hours. 6 hours I've got to have anxiety about someone coming home. So yeah, I think for me it ruined the relationship with my parents for sure. But I don't know for everyone it ruins. I would say negatively impacts.
Right. And negatively impacts even the person's self-esteem.
Yeah. The quote is, self-blame is a direct link to childhood logic. Children often develop a fantasy that they are bad kids relying upon good parents to avoid confronting the terrifying reality that they are good kids relying upon bad parents. Jim Knipe.
Yeah.
It was in a training I did in 2024. I did a CEUs, and that was one of the quotes.
It's a great quote. It reminds me of, I saw somewhere that said, when you're so hard on a child, they don't end up hating you. They end up hating themselves.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we're talking
Right.
about is the effect on the kid's self-esteem. That's why
Right.
that's perfect for that quote.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's easier for me to believe I'm bad
Exactly.
than my parents are bad.
Right.
As a child,
Right.
as a little child.
And they're the narratives that you carry into adulthood.
Absolutely.
So this is our public service to not go back to traditional parenting.
Right.
Is that what we're doing?
Yes. That gentle parenting is not permissive parenting.
One of the things is this is why maybe people are going back to traditional parenting is because, you know, I couldn't stand my parents, right? Like I just said, feeling like a horrible kid, kind of praying that my dad doesn't come home, right? And then some parents, like I wouldn't say I did this, but maybe some parents of my generation swung to make your kid your friend and your kid has to approve of you all the time and you never want your kid mad at you. And that would border on permissive, probably parenting.
Right. It says permissive parenting is child driven, rarely gives or enforces rules, overindulges the child to avoid conflict.
Right.
So yeah.
Right.
Definitely permissive.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe people are trying to swing back, right, to traditional because they feel like, oh, what has happened?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. We would have to ask people that had permissive parenting, like, what do you what's your goal? Like, what do you like? I probably swung. I didn't want to beat my kids, right? Because I didn't want that relationship with my kids, right? I wanted to have fun. I don't think I was permissive. I don't like. I definitely there were rules and there, you know.
Right. I think it could look permissive.
Was I permissive?
You know, I've struggled with this a lot because my mom makes fun of me with my gentle parenting style.
Okay.
So I've thought about it a lot where I'm like, am I being permissive? And I don't think that I am. There's definitely boundaries. When I'm reading the permissive part, that's not what we're doing. Like there's definitely rules. The child is not the boss, you know? So I think it's
But I'm not attacking your parenting. I don't know anything about your parenting or very little about your parenting. But I don't think permissive parents would see themselves as permissive. I think they would see themselves as just I'm a good parent. Maybe even permissive parents would say I'm gentle parenting. Like maybe they would, because permissive sounds negative. Like most people that are doing negative things don't think they're doing the negative. You know what I mean? Like they see them. Like I guess what I'm saying is we have a lot of cognitive mechanisms that make us feel right in whatever we're doing. Like there's another quote. I put this up the other day because I loved it. It was in the book I read. It'll be easy to find because it was the last quote. It says, "We lie, cheat, and justify so well that we honestly believe we are honest." And it's by that author. I was talking about, the psychologist Jonathan Haidt. In the book I read, The Righteous Mind, the bottom line is we have cognitive mechanisms that always convince us we're the right one. You know? So I think permissive parents, I'm not saying you are permissive. I don't how would I know, right? But I mean maybe she would know, but she's not going to tell you you're permissive either.
She's not though, because I think we parent similarly. I think I can be a hair stricter only because of my anxiety.
It's getting interesting.
No. I just think that's just my personality. So I think what she's a little bit more lenient about, I think I get more nervous about, but not that it's by any means anything of substance or anything that is child led. I feel like that's a really big part of this whole permissive parenting is that the child makes the rules, the child tells you where they're going. No, that's not the case. And her kids are older, so I guess especially if anybody,
they're not older. The oldest is 12. Older than yours.
That's what we're talking.
When you say her kids are older,
I meant
she meant
my
hers.
children.
I understand, but I'm helping the listener out.
Of my kids.
Yeah, she said of her kids.
And I was gonna say the only one that is probably in that entering teenage years that will push her boundaries more would be her oldest, Sienna. And even then, she's like, no, you're not,
Mhm.
doing
Yeah,
whatever.
XYZ.
Yeah, XYZ.
Yeah.
But your mom says you are. Your mom makes fun of your
Because,
gentle parenting.
and I'm going to tell you why.
Yeah.
She's just,
Okay. We're just throwing your family under the bus today.
it's
All right,
it's
cool.
because
They don't listen anyways.
They don't
it doesn't
listen. My
matter.
mom tells us to
Right,
our
I
face she
remember.
doesn't listen.
Mhm.
She used to be so into
Right,
it.
and
How
now-
did we lose her?
I don't
We
know.
should be finding out how we're losing listeners.
Right. Haters. Anyways.
Haters.
Haters.
Wow.
Anyways, it is because we explain things to our children, or Melissa will explain to Sienna, no, you aren't going to so-and-so's house
Because you will be sex trafficked and kidnapped.
probably.
Right.
Right. And
according to Sienna, that seems to be the explanation. That's a throwback to
my
an old
mom
episode. All right.
would maybe had a rough day at work and didn't really feel like maybe dropping me off to Susie's house, and maybe didn't really like Susie's mom too much. But instead of explaining to me, hey honey, I had a bad day at work, I don't feel like, because maybe I was like 12 years old, she would say no because I said so.
Mhm.
So she feels that because we explain to the child so they understand, that's gentle parenting.
Right. Okay.
It says here, authoritative parents solve problems together with child, set clear rules and expectations. They have open communication and natural consequences.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I was always really big on timeout. Like that has to be the age of the child.
Right. A minute per age.
Yeah, a minute per year.
Yeah,
right.
That's what I've heard. Yeah.
Yeah. So I feel
when
like
you said natural consequences, I was thinking of Archer, which nobody watches. Archer.
What's Archer?
It's a cartoon for adults. Like not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they have sexual situations and everything.
It was like on Cartoon Network.
It was on Fox.
Oh,
FX.
was it?
Yeah,
okay.
FX. And it's on Hulu, and I love that show. But so Archer, like when he was a kid, like natural consequences are you left your bike outside and it got stolen. Like that's a natural consequence, right? So his mom stole his bike and he never got it back, and he didn't find out until he was like 40 that his mom was the one that stole his bike.
That's funny.
Like natural
That's something Joe would do.
Yeah, that's like natural consequences though, because if your bike were really stolen, you're not ever getting it back.
Yeah.
Yeah, in the episode, she steals his new car that he got for his birthday.
Oh my god!
Because he left it somewhere and she just stole it. She had it stolen.
Left with the keys.
Yeah.
Anyhow, that show, it's a funny show, but yeah, natural consequences.
Well, I'm into the
natural consequences.
Yeah.
Okay, so explain to me the last natural consequence you gave Sienna.
Well, I was going to give the example that we got our ears pierced together. It's a bonding experience, like her cartilage, the top ear piercings, not like just the lobe. I did not know that it was not allowed at school. Of course not. I really didn't. I didn't read that part of the parenting manual that you're not allowed to have your cartilage pierced. So I didn't think we were breaking any rules. I did tell her that I'm pretty sure you can only wear one earring. So you need to take out the other earrings. And if you just wear that one, since it was the one you got freshly pierced.
Right.
She took out the other ones, and then I didn't notice when she put them back in for school. So I got a call from school saying that she had a bunch of earrings in and she was getting a detention. So when she got back in the car with me, I told her, well, you knew not to put the earrings in, and you did, and now you got a detention, so you deserve the detention.
Okay. Natural consequence.
So I guess that's a natural consequence.
Yes.
Yeah.
I guess.
Okay.
And the failing of quizzes.
Right.
Yeah, that I tell her all the time. If she doesn't study, she's going to fail her quiz.
Right.
Yeah. But
Schools aren't always big on natural consequences, because one of my children he wouldn't do his homework. I don't know if you've heard this story. Like he used to throw it down the sewer drain on the water drain on the way home.
So it disappears.
School. So because his mom would check his bag for homework, and if it's all like nothing. If it's all in the sewer, then there's nothing to check. No. And like the school called us in, and I was like, "Look, we've done everything we can. fail him.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
were like, no, he passed whatever the
like
test
the
is, and
FCAT
he
or
got
whatever it was.
he got promoted to the next grade. I was like, then don't come at me with your
Right, don't
nonsense,
call me.
because if you're not going to fail him, these are natural consequences. I didn't even know that term then. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
but
I
I
didn't
was
know it
like,
was a term,
yeah,
but it's
fail the kid.
definitely, I think, how I parent, specifically Sienna,
All right.
at least.
Right.
Okay, great.
All right.
Right.
We're all good parents.
Right.
That's the moral of the story.
No corporal punishment.
And we're judging your parenting.
Right.
Don't hit your kids.
Don't hit your kids.
Bad idea. Yeah.
It is.
I agree. You should not hit your kids.
Right.
But I also, people are not going to like that. Like,
there's just so much.
There's a lot of
research
evidence.
and evidence.
Look, yeah, there is. It's considered abuse.
Right.
And a lot, like, not always. You have to allow for cultural parenting and whatever, but sometimes maybe it's appropriate, but not regularly. And certainly, like, as a rare thing, maybe. And I'm not saying that because I
did it. Yeah.
Spanked my kids one time, my boys one time. I'm uncomfortable telling people they can't do that, like, as a therapist, because some people were raised in cultures where that's the parenting. I don't think it's the best strategy. I will say that. I think
I agree.
You can end up with a lot, like I mentioned Skinner earlier, B.F. Skinner. He's the founder of behaviorism. He's all about reinforcement and punishment is why we are the way we are. But he says punishment has a lot of unintended consequences.
Yeah.
And I agree 100%.
100%. Yeah. All right. That's a good
guys.
ending.
Yeah.
All right.
And that's a wrap on this episode of Therapists Say. I'm your host, Mel.
I'm your other host, Liz.
Barry.
I feel like you should have a line out, like, and we're out.
All right.
Something like that. Bye.
Bye.
All right, that's it for today's episode of Therapists Say. Thanks for hanging out. Hopefully you laughed, learned something, or at least realized you're not the only one with issues.
New episodes drop every 2 weeks, so hit follow and don't forget self-care.